Welcome, collectors and heavy equipment enthusiasts. Welcome to this episode of Diecast Emporium. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a WSI Volvo model. This is the 1/50th scale DD105 asphalt compactor. Now, this is a very small machine in real life, so it's not going to be a massively large model that WSI is known for, particularly when they do replicas of construction equipment. But it is a very nice piece, and without further delay, let's get straight into it. As you can see, the box is very nice. It has a fine rendering of the real roller doing some compacting. DD105 at the bottom left, Volvo bottom right, WSI models up here. The side is a continuation of the wraparound mural that makes the box look very nice and presentation style. On the back of the box, we can see an outline drawing of the roller along with some operational specifications of the real machine, including but not limited to the fact that this roller weighs just over 10.5 tons. All right, let's begin with unboxing this, which again is pretty simplistic and easy to do. I like to bring in a little knife here to help me pop open one of the flaps without damaging one of the flaps. There you go. Little trick of the trade. When you do that, the model will be housed in these two polystyrene formers. The first time you do this, as you can tell, you will need to take an X-Acto knife and go all the way around and cut this out very carefully. And then you can lift it straight up, and inside you can see the model. Now, there's no assembly that needs to be done on this roller because there's no small pieces such as beacon lights or any other accessories that need to be fitted to the machine. So once you take it out of the polystyrene, you are ready to display it. With the roller free, we can begin the overall model review by taking a look at the details. Now, as I've said before, WSI is synonymous with excellence when it comes to their construction replica models. Even in their trucking line, obviously, they are known for really being towards the higher end of things. So let's see if this model is right up to snuff. First thing you'll probably notice is the sharp decal application, such as the DD105, the small yellow warning labels that you can see right here. The venting on the side is all done in part of the casting, so that is not a decal. You can see all of the bolt head paint highlighting that has been done, both here and here. There's more tie-down latching decaling on the side, even a small warning label right here just above the door latch. Volvo is right here at the very top. Unfortunately, neither the left-hand side or the right side doors open on the cab, which, if I'm being honest, is a little bit disappointing. Moving towards the front of the roller, a very crisp Volvo logo once again, front and center. You have some headlights, which again are done with actual lenses that are into the casting. That's not paint or highlighting. You have a scraper right here at the top of your drum, some very bright blue filler caps for your water tank, mirrors on both sides, and again, a couple sets of forward-facing lights. At the right-hand side of the machine, much of the same that we saw on the other side, but again, it is worth highlighting. The access steps, again, the very bottom one has a nice orange highlighting on it, which you'll see a lot of the handrails and stuff on the modern Volvo equipment has this orange highlighting on it. Really brings it out, gives it some depth to it. There's a light here, a light here. Finally, at the rear of the roller, once again, you can see a windshield wiper. Again, another Volvo here. Two different types of lights, so these are different than we saw at the front of the machine. Up on top, you'll see two different lights or beacon lights that are amber in color and are clear see-through, which really give the impression that they light up and work, but of course they don't. Taking a look inside the interior, WSI has also done a faithful job to recreate it as best of their ability, which again only adds to the fact that it's truly a shame that these doors don't open because the interior is very well done indeed. So that is the detailing. Let's take a look at the functionality. Now, rollers are a very simplistic piece of equipment, so obviously there isn't going to be a lot of functionality like you would find on an excavator or a dozer model. So really all we care about is how well the drums roll and how well the articulation range goes. So let's start with the articulation range. It is somewhat decent, although perhaps it could be a little bit more. But it will hold whatever angle you set, helped along, of course, by the big, heavy drums that are used on this model. And as you saw there, the drums will roll freely and do not get stuck, at any particular angle. Finally, looking underneath the roller, you can see the detail that's on each of these big drums. But aside from that, there's hardly any detail underneath the machine. And once again, a noticeable absence from this model are the large hydraulic steering rams that you'd see across the articulation point on roller models. So, another thing we want to do before we conclude this video, let's see how this looks on a lowboy. So we have a Diecast Masters lowboy here. Now again, this is only a 10.5 ton machine, so perhaps this style lowboy is a bit overkill. But for demonstration purposes, why not? So we have him up on the lowboy, and maybe if you have another piece of paving equipment lying around, you could justify this type of setup by bringing in a paver, for example. And there you go. There's your paving equipment lowboy heading to the job site. So, once your equipment gets to the job site, the other part of the mimic display or diorama I'll show you guys before we conclude the video is having a small paving diorama setup, which you can do with as little as 3 scale models. You will need, of course, a paver, which in this case we are using the Motor Art Volvo P6820D APG. I know, huge mouthful there for a model. We're using the roller that we're reviewing in this video, of course, with the DD105. And yes, you guessed it, the last piece you will need is a suitable 1/50th scale dump truck. So let's bring in our Diecast Masters HX International. And there you go. You have yourself a very impressive and very quick paving train diorama. So, in conclusion, what do I think about this WSI roller? Well, I think overall, it's a very solid execution model of a roller by WSI models. It is not up to their typical standard that they themselves have set for their construction models. And what I mean by that is there aren't any opening cab doors. There's no engine hatches or engine panels that open, which I think would have brought a lot to this model and justify this model's relatively high price tag. And you can certainly get any of the cat rollers or any of the ham rollers or really even the Bomag rollers for the price of this one. That being said, though, if you are stuck on WSI models, or if you want to add a Volvo compactor to your roller or road construction collection, it can be recommended for that. It does function just fine with the big heavy drums. The articulation across the pivot point works well. And as I said, it does have some pretty decent detail with some of the smaller aspects that you wouldn't see on some rollers with the highlighted blue filler caps, some of the beacon lights, and some of the interior detail. It's just a shame that without opening doors, we can't really get a true appreciation for it. As always, I'm Tommy with Diecast Emporium. Thank you all so very much for watching. Let me know what you think of this model down in the comment section below. Until next time, take care and be safe. I'll see you in the next review.